Welcome back. In this video we are continuing our work on construction of the custom fuel tanks for Little Bear. The tank has been pretty much welded together with the exception of the fuel bungs. Of course, the bungs need to be positioned rather precisely, especially the fuel filler bung, which is the one we're working on here, as it has to line up directly with the hole that's already in the deck. So we measured again, then measured again, and then we measured again. And in this shot, we're actually marking the point where we're going to drill the top of the tank out in which to install the bung. Fingers make pretty good ear protection, don't they? That little grinder was so noisy. Okay, here's the bung is actually in place, and the first tack. It's easier to weld on a flat horizontal surface than it is on a vertical one, so we put the tank on the floor so that Ken could weld it properly. With the first bung welded in, we have to weld in the second one. The second one we chose to put in was another large hole, and it was for the fuel gauge sender. I'm using a fuel gauge that has a stainless steel rod in it, rather than the ones that have flexible floats. The boat will be bouncing around a fair amount, and I've had experience with the float types fuel senders where they just break because they're bouncing around all over the place. So this one's fairly solid. It's a steel pipe with a magnetic float attached to the steel pipe, and hopefully that will last a few years. So this is the bung for that. The next bung we decided to put in was the fuel pickup. In my hand you can see the fuel pickup that I selected to put in. It's a plastic pipe with a stainless steel reinforced spring inside the plastic, and we're putting it at the other side of the tank so that we get maximum pickup. I want the end of the pickup actually sitting on the bottom to get the lowest point possible in the tank, pick up fuel. Of course I don't want to pick up any sludge or gunk that's in the bottom, but I do want to pick up a maximum amount of fuel out of the bottom of the tank. Now in this shot we are putting in an outlet for the diesel heater and a drain. Now this shot here, another hole in the top, is for vent. When you fill up your tank with fuel, the input of diesel fuel forces air out, so the air has to go somewhere, so you need to have a vent, and normally the vents go to the outside of the boat. The drain heater port at the bottom there. It's not right at the bottom, simply because I don't want any corrupted diesel fuel to exit. So we used a flapper wheel to get the burrs off the edges of the hole where we drilled holes. It's a little less aggressive than the grinding tool that we were using earlier. So in this point I'm using an Autobody mechanic's hammer to hold the bung in place so that my buddy can weld it. Just gonna tack it in place for now and then weld all the way around once it's held in place. Finger on fire. Needless to say, that welding gets really hot. The whole tank was warm after we finished welding all the bungs in. And a test fit of the last plate to go in place. Another test fit of the fuel gauge.